Ooh, that was intense.
All
What up?
right, what is going on, YouTube?
Hello.
Welcome,
Oh my god.
welcome, welcome to the first official event in our month-long Community Shocktober event. How is everyone doing tonight, Luke? It is great to have you here, man. How you doing, buddy?
Spooky hello. I couldn't think of a
Spooky
pun in time.
hello. What did you think of that intro, man?
I thought it was wild. I really like the kind of film grain. I think the score is nice. Did you score that yourself?
I wish I did. I didn't have time, but my good friend Jeremy Rampala did score it, and he wants me to let you guys know he's open for commissions. So if you like what you heard, hit the link in my bio as well as the link in the bio of this video. Not my bio, the bio of this video. Let me be very clear here. Maybe I've already had too much candy corn, dude. But
Yeah, because you're candy corny.
I a little
Oh.
bit, unfortunately. I think as you get older, and not that I'm, a fossil by any means, but I dad's senses are tingling lately. Let me just put it that way. But while we're speaking about that, description and links in the bio, all of Luke's materials can be found. He's a musician. He's a writer.
Hello.
He is a game master of sorts. I don't want to spill the beans of what he has up his sleeves too much. But Luke,
True.
before we jump in to the topic of the night, quickly, why don't you let people know who you are? Because this is only your second time on our channel, and what you do
That's true.
in your day-to-day and where they can find it if they would be so inclined, my friend.
Yeah, hello. My name is Luciano Ferrara. I am a musician. Like Chris said, I'm a writer, and I am a game master of sorts. I play a lot of D&D. I really like doing kind of actual play stuff. I am actually, in the spirit of Halloween, I'm currently doing with one of my roommates, his girlfriend and my girlfriend. We're doing a double date, a D&D and double D thing where we're doing like a Victorian murder mystery. So hey, if I need some scoring, it sounds like I gotta hit up Jeremy to make my game a little bit creepier.
Dude, that sounds awesome, man.
Yeah, it is a lot of fun. My character is like basically Bigfoot. His name is Otir, Otir. You know, he's just kind of one of those guys that likes to stay out of the spotlight. He's not too big of well, he is big, but he's not too big of a people person. He just likes to keep to himself in the woods, you know.
He sounds Canadian. Am I wrong in saying that?
He is from the Great North, from Saskatchewan.
Okay, Sasquatch.
Or there are other rumors he's from Saskatchewan.
Dude, I don't even know what you just said. I can't say I've been there myself. So
yeah, but so I am working on a really cool
start already.
Music related D&D thing that's going to be very exciting. Hopefully that we're going to be putting together pretty soon and will be available for you to check out. I also am on Spotify and all those, streaming things that take all of our money under my own name, or you can check out my band, The Ensuing Disaster. All of our stuff is just @ensuing disaster. My is right here.
Tell them things I have to put in the link in the bio. It's as if I don't already have enough between work and midterms. No, I'm just kidding. You guys got to check his music out.
You can look at my portfolio. You can check out my LinkedIn.
Little plug early on in the show, Johnny Manna, who's a good friend of both Luke and I's and a friend of the show as well. He used to be on the show a lot before his life got busy, before he wanted to become a lawyer and, out income all of his friends. And Johnny had a brief stint in Luke's band. So you guys know Johnny. You know Johnny has good taste, and that's why I bring that up. So check out The Ensuing Disaster.
This is true.
Yeah.
This is true. So, Johnny did play keys in our band for like all of about 2 weeks.
Luke, around yesterday, I want to say early mid morning to early afternoon, I gave you a phone call. Why don't you sort of recount that phone call and sort of walk us up to what we'll be talking about here for the better part of this next hour?
All right. Well, so first of all, in classic Chris fashion, he texted me at midnight.
I did, yeah. That's when the idea hit me.
Okay, but the last time he texted me at midnight, it just said, "You up?" So I was like, wonder what this is. This time was Ayo. So now I get Ayo. So Chris texted me and called me yesterday and was like, "Hey man, listen, I need somebody to co-host this. We're doing this podcast. We're doing Halloween movies." And I was like, "Oh, I'm not really a scary movie person. I'm kind of a bitch." And he's like, "All right, well, he didn't even tell me what it was until I was like, "Yeah, I'll do it, sure." And then he was like, "Okay, here's what you need to do. We're going to be talking about this movie called Hubie Halloween." And I was like, "I don't like, what is that?" And he's like, "It's just like this new thing on Netflix. It's Adam Sandler." And I was like, okay, like, all right, do I need to watch the movie? So yesterday, in between bouts of my dog puking, I watched
Oh
Hubie
God.
Halloween. So
And
it's been
puking is ironically fitting considering the movie that we're talking about.
yeah, it's
Just
oh,
like
wow,
Rocky.
it's pretty yak worthy.
Dude, that whole little puke sequence was actually ridiculous.
So weird.
I
I
mean,
like honestly when that first scene happened when he did that, I was like, oh, okay, so it's like surrealism, like. And then to be fair, I mean, like they were throwing TVs at him, and he was just like, okay, that's pretty surreal. A dude wouldn't be that good, like.
dude, I love how like it starts off with harmless Halloween style things, eggs, toilet paper, and he
Yeah, they're
first
just
off is
chucking
dodging
those.
them like a ninja, and then all of a sudden it just progresses into
Mhm.
weapons that could seriously injure him. It's
Yeah,
like
he's
how
running
much
through the woods. There's like a flaming spear. I was like, oh, all
it's
right,
like
like,
how much does this town hate him? But Luke, we haven't even told the people what we're speaking about yet.
oh,
What
true.
are we talking about here today,
We
Luke?
are, yeah. So we are talking about that movie. We are talking about Hubie Halloween. It is a new Netflix movie starring Adam Sandler, and of course, like pretty much the whole Happy Madison kind of deal. I was really excited that Kenan Thompson was in it. When I saw Kenan Thompson, I was like, oh, classic. I love Kenan.
Dude, this whole
Um,
cast is dynamite, man.
yeah, yeah. It's.
I
I
mean,
mean, the plot is absolutely asinine, but like at least there's like a lot of people that make it funny. Like,
if you were ever wondering how well respected Adam Sandler truly is in his time spent in the film entertainment industry, this movie is.
yeah,
I
he
mean,
got
it
all
couldn't
these
paint.
people to pay attention to him and make this
Yeah,
movie.
yeah,
So
and it's like they gave up other jobs probably to be in this movie. You can only shoot so many films at one point in time. So
yeah,
think
bro.
about that.
Stranger
His reach
Things was
was
on hiatus, and they were like, "We need you to be spooky again, William Schnapp." And he's like, "All right,"
yeah.
but
So
no.
guys, as Luke said, we are talking about Netflix's Hubie Halloween, the latest installment in Adam Sandler Happy Madison chaos. To be honest with you, Luke, I haven't watched too much of the Happy Madison Netflix universe
I haven't seen
to
like
be
any of
exact.
it.
So, oh, we got some people in the chat. Mid-level media. What is going
Hello,
on, Ken? Thank you
what's
always for
happening?
supporting, man. It means a lot, dude.
I
Thanks
mean,
for
the last Adam Sandler
being here and
movie that
hanging out.
I remember seeing when it was new was that one where he makes shoes, and that one was like questionably racist at times. So,
Yeah,
like, what do we really? I think that kind of put the
I
kibosh for me.
just I avoided that one. Just so I mean,
It
for many
was.
reasons. But Adam Sandler is obviously a hit or miss guy. I think, as you kind of just alluded to. But I got to be honest with you, man. Actually, you know what? Hold on. I wanted to see if you knew this first, and then we'll start dissecting the movie. So
Okay.
we're at the 9-minute mark. I want to go for roughly an hour for everyone in the chat, just so they know. So, Luke, did you know what I'm about to pull up on screen right now? Because this is
Oh
something
goodness.
in the cinephile community that I've stumbled into. This was big news, and everyone was like, "Oh God, what's gonna happen here?" You know what I mean? Like, is this
I think this
really
is
gonna
gonna be
be as
some
bad as they
canon.
say? Did you know about this, Luke?
Hold on. Make a terrible
Can you
movie.
see it? The screen share? Did you know that he was threatening?
No, I didn't know that. I didn't see that movie either. If I'm being honest, I don't watch a ton of movies, so like this is a very rare thing for me to be like someone to be like,
And
look at this movie, and I'm like, okay,
okay,
like yeah.
first off, if you haven't seen Uncut Gems, let me tell you, Ken gets it. This is literally a phenomenal film. This movie got snubbed at the Oscars, Luke. So just so you know, in this community of ours that we're in right now, and honestly, just artists in general, you'll be able to understand this. What's your favorite album of all time, Luke? Like by a mainstream artist. Let's pick someone mainstream,
uh,
or just like an amazing mainstream album
okay,
that comes to
okay,
your mind.
okay, that's fair. One of my favorite albums by like a regularly recognized band is I really, really like "Wish You Were Here" by Pink Floyd. That's like a
Okay,
common one that
phenomenal
I'm really
album. I don't know if that won the Grammy. I feel like it probably did. I
into.
know.
Yeah,
But imagine if that album didn't win the best album Grammy that year, and everyone was saying it was going to, and the general consensus by people was this was the greatest Pink Floyd performance in such a long time, and if this gets snubbed, they're going to lose all faith in art and the Oscars in general, right? Imagine that, the
well,
Grammys in that case, because that's what happened with Uncut Gems.
I mean, I am allowed to say this as a music journalist. Music awards are absolute bullshit. Everybody's full of shit.
Oh,
How do you
for
like
sure.
how do you like okay, like we were just talking about this earlier and we definitely are going to have to watch this. The Room. Like The Room is like categorically bad on all like terms of it's like poor quality, the like audio doesn't match up. There's like all these crazy things wrong with it. And it's like people still absolutely love that. Like, so do I think like it's gonna win an Oscar? Like, absolutely not. But like, would I say it was a successful film? Probably not for the reason he wanted, but it was successful. So like, I guess I would say like,
so
if this was really good and it deserved an Oscar, it's like the deserving of an Oscar and having the Oscar are, to me, practically the same thing. Like, if I think it's worth it, then it's worth it.
This wasn't a comedy, Uncut Gems, just so you know. This was a very intense, serious drama rooted in actual real-world events and people going through their motions, trying to turn an honest dollar in New York City, and sometimes not quite so honest. So this was a very, very step away from what Adam Sandler normally gives us, and it kind of showed another side to his acting chops. So that's why people felt snubbed. That's why people felt, you know, oh, whoa, I would argue subscribers. That's awesome.
Ooh,
thank you. Wow, hello. We only had 95 when we started this thing a few minutes ago. Thank you, guys.
Looks like I'm famous.
That's awesome. Wow, Luke, I'm glad you could share this moment with me, man. Thank you so much, stranger, for telling us that, dude. Stranger Boy 101, coming with the good news. Thank you, man.
You're not a stranger to me, stranger boy.
This was a big deal that this movie didn't get nominated for an Oscar, and so Adam Sandler said that he threatened to on Howard Stern, and you can go and watch this clip. It's
when
hilarious.
Is this dated?
Like
a year ago, yeah.
He said a year ago that he would make the worst movie of all time if they didn't nominate him for an Oscar. And then, so Luke, we then get from Adam Sandler a little movie that you and I both watched called Hubie Halloween. Now, let me ask you a question before we start talking about the movie itself, Luke. Do you think Adam Sandler was serious with what he said on Howard Stern?
I mean, okay, like, all right, first thing, I just want to argue, if you've never seen the Meyerowitz stories, Uncut Gems is not the first time that he went off on a serious venture to catalog people's stories. Meyerowitz stories with Ben Stiller and I can't remember her name. Really, I know that Robert De Niro is in it, and really good film on Netflix. Anyway, I think like this movie is basically like Adam Sandler being like, hey, you guys remember the 2000s when I got away with making millions of dollars off of this character 7 times? Like, that's what this is. He's like, guess what? I can still do it. Like, and I can make it bad. And if it's bad, no one will care because you're all going to watch it to talk about how ridiculous it is. But it's still me in 2000, only I look 50 something years old, not 12.
I hear that. Film Fanatic, thank you for hanging out yet again, my friend. It's good to see you.
I do like Grown Ups. I do like Grown Ups
too. And I kind of agree with Ken. Grown Ups was kind of the beginning of the end for Sandler. And so with that being said, Luke, I titled this episode. Did you see the title I put on this episode?
No. How do
I said, I'll just cat's out of the bag. I said, I said the exact words were, why I've watched Hubie Halloween twice in all capitals.
Oh, really?
Luke, and I feel like we're going to lose those 100 subscribers that we just got. But I actually really enjoyed this movie. Now, let me explain. Okay. What have we really gotten this year, first of all? The answer? Not much. Second off, this movie doesn't take itself too seriously, man. It's kind of just like a fun... Because here's the thing. I don't want to get political at all, but I think the reason why I watched this movie twice is because what's going on right now? People fighting. The left, the right, no one agrees. There's so much pain, there's so much anger, there's so much, and then you get this movie, right? Around a time of the year that I really love. And I think as I gotten older, the past 3 years, I really got into Halloween. And I think it's when I started really hanging out with your guys' friends group, Johnny, Chris, all those guys, right?
I don't even like Halloween.
You guys do a lot of seasonal stuff together, and we would play werewolf and we would hang out. And I just think as you get older, you kind of long for the old days a little bit. Not that we're old, but yeah, exactly. We're going to have to play some werewolf soon. And so with that being said, this movie hit at the right time. I think if I had watched this movie for the first time, not in season, I think that I would clearly see a lot of problems with it. But I'm not saying I love this movie. So everyone's going to screenshot this and be like, Talking TV broke 100 subscribers and lost all credibility.
And then talked about like they like Halloween.
Yeah, no.
Cinematography was great.
It wasn't terrible. But
it was okay. I mean, it's like
it also wasn't the greatest movie, but I didn't hate it. So, Luke, what's before we dive in, and I do have a few specifics I want to talk to you about. Oh shit! Wow, people are 101 subscribers now. Wow,
that's right, baby.
Guys, This
You
is
gotta get the
actually
Luch on board.
incredible. Thank you guys for doing this with us, man. Hubie Halloween is like Waterboy and Grown Up set on Halloween. Yeah,
I mean,
that's a good.
Waterboy maybe, but like I said, he
Yeah, the
plays the
Waterboy
same
vibes.
character 7 times. It's like how many places can you put your tongue in your mouth and call it a different voice?
So Luke, can he watch this with his kids? I would say cover their eyes for like
I mean, it's an Adam
three,
Sandler
4 minutes
movie.
of it.
Like, literally at no point does it stop being an Adam Sandler movie. So if you wouldn't let your kids watch like Big Daddy or like Happy Gilmore or whatever, don't let them watch this. I guess. Like,
I could agree with that a lot. Yeah.
yeah, it's
So
got Shaq making out with like a dude. Like, I mean, if you're uncomfortable with that, like, then I guess no.
that is true. So with that being said,
That's
Luke,
such a
what
scene.
is your take on Hubie Halloween? Before we dive in, I have a few specifics. What did you think about it and why?
Okay, so general like overview is like I I mean, I liked Adam Sandler movies when I was when I was younger. I thought they were funny. I was also like I would absolutely say that like my sense of humor has changed. So like kind of potty humor is like I have to really specifically like the content or like the context of like what I'm watching to like jokes like that. But I think like I don't know. I mean, it's a 2000. It's Adam Sandler doing like imagine that this isn't based around Halloween, right? Imagine that. Okay, here we go. We're about to rewrite the movie. And it's going to be the exact same movie, only not during Halloween. He could put out whatever. Okay,
Okay, I'm
so
following your lead, man.
it's Adam Sandler who is a like grown man child, virgin man child, right? Living with his elderly mother again, or like living with his mother again, or some elderly woman again, right?
Yeah.
And the town is having a pudding festival, and the annual pudding festival is happening, and everybody loves the pudding festival, and it's like this whole thing, and it's all about pudding. And Adam Sandler's character, like when he was a kid, was really involved in the pudding thing, and then like now his whole life is dedicated to the pudding festival and making sure that like the pudding festival goes off without a hitch. And other people hate that because they just want to have fun, and he's being a pudding narc. Like it's the same movie, only it's not Halloween. Now you add like, oh, it's Halloween, so everything's scary, and like it could be a murder mystery.
Yeah.
Like you just change the season of it, and it becomes generally like kind of the same movie. Whereas like, and then the family structure, the way the town reacts to him, it's like, I mean, that in itself is almost like supernatural in how like the entire town acts against him is like honestly like kind of ridiculous, especially at the very end when they're all tied up and they're still shitting on him. I was like, what is this?
It is a little ridiculous. Let me say this, okay? This movie actually has a positive message. It's anti-bullying. Give someone a chance, you know? That's all his mom really tries to do. And guys, just so you know, this is going to be a spoiler review. So here's your warning. I don't want you to leave. But if you're going to get upset if you haven't seen this yet, if you can't have Hubie Halloween spoiled for you, now is your time where we'll politely say, please come back and finish this after you go and watch the movie.
Please go to the Wikipedia page and read the plot and then come back in 5 minutes.
Yeah, so Luke, I think what you kind of raised up is one of the points I wanted to get to here, and I didn't want to get to it quite as early, but this is a nice segue into it. It isn't a terrible screenplay, but it's nothing we haven't seen before. It's really just cloaked in Halloween and festivities. It's a very predictable, very easy screenplay. But what I think they do really well is it's tight. There aren't many holes. All the characters have a purpose, regardless of how stupid they are.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Nobody misses a beat either. Like everybody's pretty like on. Like the jokes are like. There's no like awkward moment where everybody's just like, that was a dumb joke. Next scene. Like the one with where she's like wearing the boner shirt or whatever, and then that kept coming back. I thought that was funny. Oh, here comes my dog.
Yeah, like it was a tight screenplay. Like
baby.
You're a music guy. Honestly, I think this movie was in the pocket. And as much as I like, people are gonna be like, he's really giving this thing a lot of credit. Well, I mean, guys, if you watch this thing, sure, the jokes might not be for you, but they land. They make sense and they come with a purpose. It's this gag of the old 80-year-old mother not being up on the lingo. So she has all these shirts that she got for cheap at the Goodwill. And she's just kind of trying to figure out like, oh, I just want to get some cheap clothes. And she thinks like, I don't know what I'm wearing. I'm an innocent old woman and I'm wearing a shirt that says like something about a boner, or like if you're reading this, then you're dumb, or what, like those typical shirts that like an old grandma wouldn't understand.
What did it say? It was like, if you can read this, you are in fart range or something stupid.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
That.
Stupid stuff like that, man. And so like, I needed that at this point in time. To be honest with you, I needed that kind of humor. I needed that kind of whimsical, just like relaxed charm.
I can
I
understand.
really
Like,
needed this movie. It came at
yeah,
a good point in time for me. You know what I mean? And then seeing how tight of a screenplay it was, it is a very, like you said, asinine film. The concept is completely just childish, but it's fun, and I
I
think it
mean,
really works.
like there are definitely like I know you said there's like holes before. It's not that there's holes. It's just like there's so many loose ends. Like he's like, I love this girl, and then she's like, I've been in love with you the whole time, and that's why I dated Kevin James playing John Goodman. Um, yeah, like
Yeah.
That's another thing I really want to touch on is Kevin James's character. He just played John Goodman the whole time, right? Like, because
You really felt
honestly,
that way. Why did you feel that way?
when I saw him sitting in the car, I was like, "Oh, John Goodman's in this movie. Maybe it'll be good." And then I realized it was Kevin James, and I was like, "Ah, Paul Blart, but for real? That sucks."
Yeah,
Yeah, I
you
mean,
weren't a
look,
fan of that.
he's got the beard. He's doing the same. He's doing the. Damn
I
it,
love that he has
Donnie.
a payday in his hand.
Yeah, I mean, he's doing like what is it? The Big Lebowski. He's doing. Damn it, Donnie. Like
Yeah,
That's
that's
just
what I
the
thought
whole
you were
face.
referencing. I just
Uh
wanted
huh.
to hear you say it.
Yeah. I don't
Totally,
know.
man.
I'm just
So,
a dude, man.
to be honest with you, another thing I think that worked in this movie is you're talking about Kevin James, you're talking about him being ridiculous and over the top, but this script, right? Say you were an actor and you got this script. It's super ridiculous. You take this role, you know what you're getting yourself into. I actually think the characters, the way they were written and the way that they acted in their roles really complemented just the sheer lunacy of this film. I mean,
Yeah,
how do you feel about that?
it's crazy. I mean, they don't have like any character development like other than him really. Like nobody like even the people who like are redeemed like Ray Liotta and them like they they have no development. Like basically the development for everybody goes like this. Kevin James's character is like kind of a dick and then he realizes he's being a dick and continues to be a dick and then his ex-wife roasts him for being a dick and he's like, "Yeah, I guess so." But only when like Adam Sandler becomes the mayor and he's like obligated by his job to be chill to him does he even really do anything. Like then you've got like all of the kids. It's like they don't really develop into anything. One of them's not braver because they went out in the storm or when they went out in Halloween. The boy isn't like smoother or like more like socially accepted because like he's got an upperclassman girlfriend, which was also really weird. I thought that was a little awkward. Whatever. Like I think like even the love interest is like she's like I've been into Hubie the whole time. And he's like, I'm just stupid and oblivious and 15 years old in a 50-year-old body. And you're like, he's the only one that sort of had any development. And even so, he's still the same character. Like from the beginning to the end, he didn't like get braver. He was doing that annoying shit all the time. It just turned out that this time he wasn't wrong. So like really, nobody developed and everybody just decided to be chill to him because he's the mayor now, even though they forgot that like his mom was about to like burn 4 people alive because they were such assholes to him. Like,
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
I don't
dude,
know. Like
that's kind of
what
what
was
I,
the message? Don't be a dick. Like, okay, you could have
yeah,
done that.
I honestly think so. Dude, I think with this kind of film, right? And especially this movie in particular, but these styles of films, I just, I hear what you're saying and it makes sense, but I also more strongly feel that everything was what it needed to be because it's
Yeah.
clearly not taking itself too seriously.
Mm-hmm.
And so I
I
don't think it wants you to take itself seriously.
I like that you said that. So here's my opinion on like taking itself seriously or like being like a satire of like an Adam Sandler movie is like I can absolutely see that. I can absolutely see you making an argument that this is like Adam Sandler being satirical of everything he's ever done and like turning it into a Halloween movie and like cracking jokes. But like to be fair, like there weren't specific references to his movies. It was just the same tropes happening over and over again. So to perpetuate trope is not satire because you're not making a comment on it being bad or like being like anything other than you're just doing it again. So it's not like you made a parody by making the same movie again. You know, if they made like if there was like a Star Wars joke, oh Spaceballs, right? If Spaceballs was like not obviously a pun on every like it's Yoda.
Yeah.
If that was like, oh, and this
Yeah.
is Joya, our green like blah blah blah, and he is from like the other weird planet. Like they didn't really go to the lengths enough to make it seem satirical as opposed to just making the same movie. And there goes my dog.
Yeah, no, but I mean, I also think that that was kind of the point, though. You know what I mean? Like, okay, so let's talk about, like, I think that this movie really was, okay, we have all these funny bits, we have all these funny gags, right? Let's, for example, Shaq is going to be the radio host, the witch, spelled WTCH.
Yeah, that was funny.
Yeah, that was
Aurora.
hilarious, right?
Hey, all
And
you cool cats, it's me, Shaquille O'Neal.
yeah, and but he's gonna have a very female sounding voice, but then he's gonna be this giant buff basketball player, right? And that was just the bit, dude. And they found a way to work it. You know what I think this movie was? This movie to me harkens back to those sort of like giant comedy blockbusters where all the big names are in it. What's that movie? I forget the name. Seth Rogen, where that's like the end of the world.
This is the end.
This is the end.
Yeah, that's a great one.
I think this, and that's why I think also a part of me is so forgiving with this movie, because I hear what you're saying and you actually raise a lot of great points. I also think you shouldn't take it too seriously, but it's kind of like, when was the last time we got this big comedy spectacle with so many cameos, scene after scene after scene? I mean, you start off with Ben Stiller for a cameo, then you have Steve Buscemi, who for some reason is a werewolf, and
I love that. And he's not even that guy. Yeah, he's a totally different. And whatever you do, don't come over. I actually prefer it if you didn't. If you hear noises and loud sound,
And of course, Hubie can't listen, but I actually commend them, and this is where I was going with this. I commend them for having a bunch of funny SNL style bits, right? That would be good for like a 3, 4, 5, 6 minute short at the most, and weaving that web to make it a movie.
I mean, they've made MacGruber before, you know what I mean? Like, they've made SNL skits out of, they've made movies out of SNL skits. Like Hot Rod is like practically a skit.
Yeah, exactly. Like, this is nothing that we haven't seen before, you know? But I just think it's been a while since we've got something like this, so it was refreshing.
I think it's interesting because you have Sandler, who's doing like all of these more like sort of serious things like Uncut Gems. He had Mayorwitz stories in between that, and he's kind of done like more, I guess, like producing and like directorial stuff maybe, to just sort of return to like, hey, this is just goofy, and like I just got to make the same movie again, and you're gonna watch it, and it's gonna be with my friends. And you know what I will say, I think was really, I'm not gonna say saved it, because it's not like it was really bad enough to need to be saved, but like the end where they're doing all the cuts of like his scare, like his face, he's scared, and like all the other characters, like all the blooper reels and stuff. Like, I thought that was really cool because it showed like they had a good time on the set. So like, while it was ridiculous, like, I mean, it's just, imagine being like the kid from Stranger Things. Imagine being like Will Schnapp and like seeing like, you just get to hang out with Adam Sandler being ridiculous. Yeah, exactly.
That's another thing I really liked about this movie. Once you understood, and you can understand right away from how over the top Ben Stiller is pretty much just playing himself on steroids.
He's that character. He's that same character, right? From Happy Gilmore. Isn't he the same guy who's like being mean to his grandmother? He has to be. I mean,
I think that they do these little things, you know, and you could just tell that this was like, okay, cool. We're taking this project because we want to have fun. And it seems like Adam Sandler just wants to have fun. And this is this movie's more about the moment rather than like the cinematic achievement. So if you can appreciate it for that, then you can appreciate it for that. How's the pup doing, Luke? She feeling better?
So my dog has been having GI problems the last 2 days, and she came in here and then started making gurgly sounds, but she threw up before I was at the grocery store. What? Go out then. Oh my god.
All right. Well, looks like I'm flying solo for a second, but I mean, I don't know. You guys in the chat, have you seen this movie? What do you think? Like chime in on it. If you haven't seen it, why don't you want to see it? Because if you want some nice light reprieve and a nice getaway, like I was saying, that I needed from this film, that's what this is. But anyways, Luke, I kind of wanted to go to a different segment here, and it's still on the movie. This is the part that got me. Okay, it's almost like Hubie is a pseudo superhero. He's dodging all of these projectiles being thrown at him. Exactly. This is one of my favorite things I have seen in such a long time.
He's digging at the grave, like that was so awkward.
Thermos out. It was just, it was a shovel, it was a vacuum, it was a telescope.
Yeah, what like that, like
a pocket knife.
It was a plot device. I mean, you're describing Batman plot armor. Like you're describing like like he had a bat thermos. That's what he had. He had a bat thermos, and it was anything he wanted it to be. He would have been like, "Oh, let me just shake up my thermos, and here's some shark repellent." Like that would have worked. He could have got away with that.
Stupid, man, but I loved it so much. I thought it was absolutely bonkers.
I think like the inclusion of both that and sort of like his ability to just keep like dipping around everybody is sort of like, I mean, that I chalked up to like, this has been happening every day. You either figure out how to avoid it or you just keep getting hit. Like, but the thermos
Yeah,
was
that's
like
true.
an interesting kind of, again, like I say, it's like the bat thermos. It's like plot device. Like, oh, he needed a vacuum. Oh, he needed this. Oh, he needed to see. But like, I think it's interesting. It's just a thing. It's just a thing. Like it, like the fact that it's specifically a thermos. It serves no symbolic purpose. Like it's not like his father took him out to get soup all the time, or like he couldn't
Yeah,
be in the scouts, so he decided to make a scouts tool like this. Like there's no like, and this is like what I feel like with pretty much almost everything in the movie is like
you're right.
there wasn't a need for she has foster kids, what, so that he's not like becoming the dad of Kevin James's character's kids. Like, all right, I guess that makes sense, but like symbolically, like why did she adopt all these kids? Like there's no reason for that. They just did it because it made it easier than him fathering Kevin James's kids. Like that would be
You're right.
weird. That would
You're
make
right.
like a family dynamic or like a triangle that the movie could not have made room for. It's like there's too much stuff to tie everything together. So then they're just like, let's just surface level everything, and everything is jokes. So then
Mhm.
everything is jokes. And like you're saying, like you kind of want that, like you kind of feel like you need that. That's what it is. I mean, that's what it was for. It was not to serve like this narrative, like analysis purpose. It's just like a bunch of Adam Sandler bits over the past like 20 years that he gets to do all at once related to pumpkins.
You're right. You're totally right. And you know what? I'm gonna introduce a slight addendum to my statement in the beginning. When I said this film was in the pocket, I think it was in the pocket as far as everything that I want right now, everything that I
Mm-hmm.
need for a break and a release, because you're totally right. They bring up his dad a lot, who apparently had passed away. I think they said 4 years ago in the two
Mm-hmm.
times I've watched it now. And, but you're
Ridiculous.
right. They didn't introduce anything that made that meaningful. Obviously, it's
Yeah,
sad
he has a
for
dad.
anyone
He's
to
dead.
lose a parent, but it didn't, you're right. It didn't propel the storyline or make anything that happened to him more enriched. It didn't create more of an intricate experience. And can I just toss in a side note? I know you want to get a point out. I love how he made this in the Boy Scouts. How do you just create a thermos in the
I
Boy Scouts?
Yeah, I thought that I thought that was a really funny thing. He's like, I made it, and I'm like, with what? Like, because obviously the amount of things he puts in there is like, it's like your
Yeah,
game
dude.
inventory. Like, of
And how
course you couldn't have
disgusting was it
anything.
when he goes to the diner before this, like at the start of the
Puts
third act,
all the
and she's
soups
like, she's
together.
like, she's like, I made you, I made
No,
you, I
he
made
blends
you,
it.
I made you. You're special. She's like, yeah, there's a blender in that thing too.
Yeah,
First off,
it's
and
disgusting. Like,
she's just like, Huey, I have your soup waiting for you at the
yeah, here's
diner.
your
It's on me or
three
something.
separate
It's like
soups.
it's one part chicken noodle, one
Uh-huh.
part
It's like
escarole, and
black
one part
bean and
clam
yeah,
chowder. Yeah,
ugh,
yeah. And then you just, oh my
split pea.
god.
Like,
And also, I love how he's offering everyone soup throughout
yeah,
the entirety of the
you
movie.
friends? Maybe
You
some of
want
your
some soup?
friends?
You want
Or
some soup?
like or
Oh
like how he
god.
throws
So
the
it's like,
soup like at the end
yeah,
where he puts the flame out. It's like, I mean, he blended up three different soups. They only look like the split pea, first of all. Secondly, like
that's true.
there wasn't like, you did not eat all that soup. Like, how was there only that much left? Like, I don't know. The need for like precise like bits and stuff.
Yeah.
Basically, like you can't apply logic to this because it's not meant for that. It's just meant to be an Adam Sandler movie. You crack on and it's funny, and there's like a couple of bits here and there, and that makes it really interesting. But something I wanted to say before, when you were like,
Sure.
it is kind of like, it's not, they're not diving into this big, like there's no meaning behind like the parent thing, right? So this is similar to something I had recently I've been watching another podcast about called Adventuring Academy, which is Brennan Lee Mulligan from College Humor and like D20, and they were talking about like kind of like edgelord characters, and Brennan was like a camp counselor at like a role playing kind of camp, and a kid was like, my character's name is like Wolf, and his parents were killed by wolves, and then he was adopted by those wolves, and then his wolf parents were killed by other wolves, and now he has like, now he has his vengeance quest to kill the set of wolves that killed his wolf parents that killed his real parents. And the thing is, like, So none of those deaths like are significant because at any point the character was going to be completely driven by like a vengeance and nothing really matters. So the human parents don't matter. The wolf parents like hardly matter. It's just the fact that like everything gets taken away. So it's loss drives it, but it's like an empty kind of like the loss isn't significant. It's just the fact that there's been loss. This is
Yeah.
like similar to the father in this, in that like there's loss, it just had nothing to do with anything, so he could have been alive the whole time, and the only difference it would have made is like if he was involved in killing the people or not. Like he would have been another character. He either would have been involved or he would have tried to stop it. Like just by removing the father, it just makes the mother easier. And I will also say this: I knew it was the mother an hour in. I like absolutely was like, I feel like it's the mom, because I feel like
Really?
the multiple people they kept bringing in, like the dude who escapes and is wearing the pig mask. It's like, well, it's not
Oh,
triangular, right? The eyes aren't triangles. It's obviously not the wolf guy because he's not wearing a mask. It's not this person. Like it was kind of like they were trying to allude that it would be like the woman. I'm like, but she's working at the diner the whole night and people are disappearing. Obviously not her. It's a special someone. It's like there's literally only
yeah.
one person in the entire thing that likes him. And I
No,
was
you're
like,
right.
well, obviously it's somebody going out, like, and it's people who are mean to him. I mean, the targeting, like, the clues were super obvious. So, like, to be shocked by it in the end was almost like, well, then you weren't watching the movie. You really weren't watching the movie. You were watching, like, you're cracking Adam Sandler bits and, like, fart jokes.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. You know what? I think I suffered, and I think that's kind of why I watched it twice as well, is because the first time around I was just so in awe of what I had witnessed for the first time. I knew Adam Sandler had threatened this terrible film, but I was just like, but this is so brilliantly bad that I'm just baffled by it. But it is pretty. You're right. Those are all good points, Luke, because they don't service the plot or enrich the
Mm-hmm.
experience. If you actually want to like be analytical here, which I'm glad you went to, that
I
is
mean, yes.
something we try and do on the show. So, with that being said, while you're kind of in this headspace, I want to ask you the end when it gets like to be like that Clue murder mystery and they're in the haunted mansion and they're trying to figure out who done it, quite literally.
Mm-hmm.
What'd
Yeah.
you think of that? Was that also as loose and as thinly veiled as the rest of this you're describing, or?
I mean, the way that they like turned on him, I kind of expected, because it was like, I mean, everybody hated him. Like it was set up to be like literally, even if he was right, they weren't gonna. It's like my favorite Mark Hoppus quote of all time. Do I believe in aliens? You know what? I'm gonna go ahead and say no because Tom really believes in them, and I don't want him to be right.
Oh my god, that is
That's one of my
so
it's one of my
petty,
favorite.
but
It's yeah, it is really petty, yeah, but
Jesus.
it's so funny.
Yeah,
But it's like, even if he was right and he wasn't a killer, I mean, I really want him to be the killer because he annoys me and I don't want him to be in my town anymore. So
sure,
yeah,
yeah.
fuck it. Like let's just straw man this guy and go after him. And I was like, I mean, they're all gonna suspect him, but if they really did their like research, like really he couldn't have done it. Like it's like super obvious that he couldn't have done it because those people watched him. Like there were people like around when what's his name, like Ray Liotta. Oh no,
Yep.
there were he was alone in there. That's true. But then
What are you talking about?
they're
Which
all
one in
like
specific?
where Ray Liotta gets taken, like in the haunted
Oh, right,
house,
right,
and it's
right.
like he gets taken,
Yeah, he
and
was
and
alone.
my thought was like, yeah, okay, he's alone, but like all those people were outside, like I mean, they saw him leave. They saw Ray Liotta go in, and then like 30 seconds later, he like how would he have like manhandled a whole person somewhere that none of them could have found him in like 10 minutes, and then went looking for like the logic of it is obviously what do you mean? But as we've established, the logic of this movie is gone out the window. Like it doesn't really matter.
You don't watch
It
this
is like
movie
a
for
pseudo
logic.
movie.
You
Mhm.
don't watch this movie for logic. You watch this movie, I think, for the cheap bits, the laughs, which depending on your sense of humor, they're cheap to me. They're cheap, but
Yeah, yeah.
I also appreciate slapstick, and I haven't seen some good slapstick in a while, and I think this was good slapstick. And I
Mhm.
also think
I
you
agree.
watch
There were
this
funny parts.
movie to sort of, if you're an artist or a creator like we are, what I got out of it was, wow, this is a man who has worked his whole career and built up a network of just, respected colleagues. And look at all of them in this movie that they know is ridiculous, but they're here because they believe in their friend Adam Sandler and they find it to be quite literally a privilege to work on something and it's not serious. And
Right.
so to me, I feel like there was a bit of artistic expression in this, honestly, for as stupid as it was, right? You used a very articulate word, asinine. As asinine as this movie was, it it was also pretty inspiring. Hey, if something means something to you, make it.
Yeah, yeah,
And who
I
cares what
agree
other
with that.
people think? I also got that out of it, man.
I think like you were saying, like working with Sandler is like those kids, like especially those kids. Like this is an interesting thing for you. I mean, no one is like gonna be like, oh yeah, I got this Adam Sandler movie coming out. Like we're getting, we're making millions, bro. Like this shit is gonna go down in history as like a legendary film. It's just like I got to hang out with like all these dudes who made a ton of movies that I liked or like all this stuff. And I also would like to posit this because I think this is really funny. And I'm sure if she watches this later or listens to this later, she'll text me and be like, "Oh my god." So my girlfriend watched it last night. She and her sister went over to my bass player and her girlfriend's house, and they're all big Halloween people. This is their jam. So they
Cool.
watched it, and my girlfriend does not like Adam Sandler like at all. And she was like, you know what? Like some of the things were funny. Like I don't like Adam Sandler, but like they're like she was just generally like, I think like if it wasn't a Halloween movie, like I wouldn't have watched it. So I think it's funny that some people will watch it even though they don't like I don't really love Halloween movies. I don't really care that much. But it's like an Adam Sandler thing, and I think he's kind of funny sometimes. So I'll take a crack at it, and I'm not really like worse for wear and having watched it. Like this isn't Jack and Jill, you know what I mean? Like
Yes, it is a step
yeah,
forward in
yeah.
regards to that.
And like, but it's cool too to be like, well, I don't really like this. I'm not a huge fan of this actor, but like, let's see what he did with a Halloween movie. And if I remember correctly, like he's never done a Halloween movie. He's done. I mean, Eight Crazy Nights was like a Hanukkah film, so
Yeah, I believe this
generally
is
like
his
a
first.
holiday season. This I think would be the first like
Yeah,
Halloween movie,
yeah, I believe
and
this was his first. So,
it's
and you
Adam
know what,
Sandler doing
man?
Halloween.
Again, like I said, time and place matters. I think, especially when talking about like a brand new piece of creative art, like music, a song, where you are and what time of the year it is, and they quite literally nailed
Mm.
it. Everyone's just getting into the festivities. I think this was, like I said, some much needed reprieve and escapism, and
It's that
it hit.
Netflix marketing team.
And you know what they did? You know what they really did as well? Happy Madison, Adam Sandler's production company. It really felt like I was watching a Halloween movie. Like the sets were
Yeah,
gorgeous, man.
I was gonna
Like
say that is like set
there was
like
effort put
lighting and
into
stuff.
this.
Yeah,
Like and the cinematography was pretty good.
yeah,
And
yeah.
like
I
the
thought it
color
was
grade,
good. Yeah,
it looked like a well-polished movie from the technical side of things, which also I think sold it a little more to me and made me
yeah,
take it a little more
absolutely.
seriously. It
It's a
wasn't just
triple A
like,
film though. Like
yeah,
they know what they're doing. Like it isn't like, and I keep talking about The
exactly.
Room just because it's so funny. But like that guy obviously like. If you haven't seen The Room or like The Disaster Artist and stuff like that, go to YouTube right now, look up The Room, and just watch The Room. And like, if this is your first time, please tweet at me at this address and tell me you watched The Room for the first time, and we will have a full conversation about it. But anyway, like that was like, I mean, that guy spent $6 million and it was awful. It was really really poor quality. It was a bad movie. Like this is like, I don't know how much money these people spent. Probably close to the same amount. Like really, but like there's something to be said about the quality of something, about the production and the content quality of things. Like it may be an Adam Sandler film, it may be like these jokes, like, but to be fair, like you're not watching like Mono's Hands of Fate, like you're watching like a AAA film that's got a lot of high production on it, and like you're allowed to like recognize that and not think that it's like, I don't know, that they wasted that. I don't feel like they wasted that production or they wasted this set on like this movie. I feel that it was very character driven, and basically it was like only about one character really, and all of these sort of connecting facets were just like how that person related to him. There was never really anything specifically about a person who was not him, other than maybe like the love interest with like the Stranger Kids thing. Like, but really, like that didn't really need to, like that. You could have had not had that, and it would have been almost the same movie. Like,
Yeah.
and I think like to recognize like it's got a high quality thing, so I don't feel like I don't feel that the level and money put into the movie were wasted, especially because people like you have responded like, well, this is something that I enjoyed. This is something that I feel like at the time, like, and again, like not everybody needs like escapism. Like so, like some people need to be like really in what's going on, and some people need to like take a step back. Like, I mean, have activism. That's a different conversation. But like I think it served the purpose, which was Adam Sandler and his friends get to make a Halloween movie that doesn't need a ton of thought, can be put right on the thing, and people would still end up enjoying it, and they'd still make
Yeah,
money.
exactly. 110%. I agree with you. And I don't really know if I have much more to add that's different to this. I was pleasantly surprised. And Luke, why don't we go ahead before we sort of wrap up and get out of here? Oh, one more thing. I actually had one more thing I prepared. So,
Cool.
and you kind of spoiled it a little bit early on, but I think I did a good enough job of sort of ducking back from it and sort of, letting it wait and make its way to where I think, because I felt like this was a good way to end it. You're kind of right, man. It opens with the Happy Gilmore callback for a classic Adam Sandler fans.
I mean, yeah, it's Ben Stiller, right? Like he's the same. I thought it was gonna. I was like, wait a
playing
minute,
the same exact role, which is
like,
what people are guessing right now.
Yeah, no, I mean he absolutely is playing the same role. He says I got a transfer, so like I didn't notice that at first, and I had been like, is Ben Stiller playing the same guy? And he is, but like I didn't hear him as transfer. I was like, wait, hold on. Does this mean that Happy Gilmore was set in Salem, Massachusetts? Because then Happy Gilmore would be beating the shit out of Hubie like consistently every day of his life. Like Adam Sandler, Happy Gilmore would be giving Adam Sandler, 15-year-old Adam Sandler Hubie like wedgies every day. So that's the movie I want to see, is all of Adam Sandler characters in Salem beating up himself.
That could be the next great cinematic universe. A lot of people do these nowadays, and it seems like Adam Sandler just took his first step into curating one of those for us. And
I wouldn't be, you know what? Like people generally like launch ridiculous like connected universes with ridiculous films that like really don't necessarily matter super like a lot. Like they'll end up doing that, but like think about like DC, like Batman versus Superman. Like you didn't have to have like the Flash and all those people showing up or like however the fuck they did. Like you could have got away with just having a Justice League movie and it would have made sense. You didn't need to plant that. Like, but you did, and people were like, oh, like this is like, I wouldn't be surprised if in 5 years there's 3 more movies where multiple of these people sort of show up either as cameos or like there's significant like connections between new Happy Madison and further Happy Madison.
I almost never call for these types of things because I almost always think that they're not done well, but I would love to see a Hubie Halloween too. And with that being said, Luke, we'll end our discussion on Hubie before we get to one more thing I want to tell everyone here about. Stranger Boy, who's been with us the whole time tonight. Thanks, man. Appreciate it. You told us about the 101 subscribers.
I would beat him up.
That means a lot.
No,
what would you do if you met Hubie, Luke?
I'd honestly, this is what I would do. Because am I like okay, if I'm normal me right now and he's like the guy that he is at the end of the movie or whatever, I'm gonna roll up and be like, hey, my man, saw that weird ass movie, here's some chestnut velouté soup, you're the guy, and I'd probably leave. And I would not want any more interaction with that guy because I don't know what I would talk to him about. He'd be like, oh, are you safe on Halloween? I'd be like, I don't like it, see you later. Like, I'm not trying to talk to you.
Yeah, I would shake his hand and say thank you for keeping us safe on Halloween. And if he offered if he offered us some soup, I think I would have to have some.
Hell no!
I would have
Did
to
you see what he put? Oh my god! Like I'm not eating chicken noodle and chowder, bro. Fuck.
I would have to. I would feel like, rude to not.
Oh, I made a gazpacho, but it's hot, and I also put chickpeas in it, and I peed a little.
Oh,
you're gonna be like, if that's what you drink, man, sure. I'm gonna be like, nah, I'm good. No,
Adam
he pours
Sandler
it out to me. I'm like,
more movies, Luke, with Netflix. Stranger Boy, thanks. Could get Hubie Halloween too. People need to ask for it. Let's start it now. Hashtag
okay,
Hubie
all right.
Halloween too.
I have one quick question. You got 1 minute to pitch the next Adam Sandler movie for Netflix. Go.
Right now?
Yes, right now.
All right, you know what I would want? I would want like a Jurassic Park parody at this point in time. Adam Sandler goes to an island. I want you to give me Paul Rudd. I want you to give me you know what? Give me Scarlett Johansson to be kind of like the badass actress who's taking it seriously and is the one who actually saves them, because God knows those two can save themselves from dinosaurs, and at the end they all get eaten by a T-Rex. And inside the belly, Scarlett has a very corny line, and it looks like a Sesame Street type set, and she's like, I should have never came here with you two.
I think a bunch of people from Happy Madison and 2 warring factions against each other, but here's the setting. they're actually just the Keebler elves versus like the non-Keebler elves. So it's just Adam Sandler and a bunch of other people shrunk down super hard, looking like very small, like Will Ferrell like elf, and making like cookies, and then getting like an increasingly like advanced warfare with another cookie making elf tree, and just like
Jesus, man.
So if we see this movie come out, I am deserving of royalties. Let's just cement that. If the Adam Sandler, if Happy Madison Keebler Elf War comes out, I'm getting money.
I like that a lot. Luke, this was awesome, man. You were a part of the first official
So stupid.
Shocktober event. For you guys who don't know, Shocktober is a community event hosted by yours truly, myself, Chris, the TV nerd, and Dominic Rizzi, the movie nerd of Talkin TV. Essentially, Luke, like in this quarantine, a lot of good stuff happened for us. We met this amazing community of people who are passionate about what we're passionate about, and us being the super small channel, they were like, we don't care. Come on. You guys are fun to talk to. And so,
oh, yeah, I think that's great.
You know, we just wanted to give back to all of them and like show these people that are in the chat right now and the people we collaborate with, like,
hello,
look,
chat.
it's been a terrible year, but like, thank you guys for giving us an outlet to put that frustration and pent up being locked in all day too. So that's what it is at its core. And what it is on paper is a series of watch-alongs. So watch-alongs and other bonus content. Like this is one of the bonus content things, just me hitting up a friend and saying like, hey, let's talk about a fun Halloween movie that came out. But like tonight, directly after this in an hour, me, myself, Dom will be on David of Flickstalk's channel, and we're going to be doing a live watch-along of Candyman.
Oh, that's a wild-ass movie.
I just watched it for the first time last night.
Yeah, that's a crazy fucking movie.
It was a little hard to get to sleep. And so, guys, we have a whole bunch of things slated for you for this Shocktober. Just head to any of our Instagram accounts, Flickstalk, myself, Dom's, Talkin TV Instagram, and follow us and subscribe and just be a part of it because it's free and we want you guys there. We love you guys. So
I would like to recommend several spooky things because
Please.
I do not know many like spooky stuff, right? So generally, like I don't watch a lot of like scary movies. I'm not a big scary movie.
See you later,
person,
stranger boy.
But I would like to recommend, and this is just like, do I have it with me? I think I have one of the books. Yeah. I don't think this isn't the first one, but this is the last in a series by a man called Dan Wells. The original is called I Am Not a Serial Killer. It's about a kid who works as like a mortician with his family, and there's like some weird killings going on. And I thought that this was a very like interesting kind of thriller thing. So Dan Wells, I'm Not a Serial Killer, or I Don't Want to Kill You, and I think the other one is Mr. Murderer. But I'm pretty sure I'm Not a Serial Killer's first. And also, I've been reading a comic series by James Tynion, I think it's the fourth, who is currently writing Batman, which is wild. And it is called Something is Killing the Children. I want to say they're on like 6 or 7 issues now. I haven't read it in a while, but it is really wild. It's great writing, like very interesting art style. And I mean, I love James Tynion. I'm pretty sure it's Boom Studios, if I'm not mistaken. But
nice, I love Boom.
But yeah, so Somebody's Killing the Children is a great spooky thing. Dan Wells, and I am actually reading it right now, and it's not exactly spooky, but where did I put it? Here it is. I just started reading this for Halloween. It is the novelization of the movie Swamp Thing.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I thought that was the Alan Moore right there.
I do love the Alan. Yeah, actually, just read any Alan Moore if you want spooky stuff. I know there's a picture in here I'm trying to find of like a still from like the movie of. Oh wait, there it is.
Told you guys he was a writer.
That's like a still from the shoot where he's like dressed up as Swamp Thing and it's like all gross and stuff.
Man, that's cool. Yeah. I gotta check that out.
Yeah, big nerdy stuff. Big spooky nerdy stuff.
Luke, dude, speaking of big spooky nerdy stuff, you guys are in the right place. Shocktober happening all month long on our channel. Thank you guys. We hit 101 subscribers on this live stream.
Yeah, that's very great. I'm
cool. It sucks Dom wasn't here to share that.
I'm proud to be part of that, and Dom not be here for that. So, if anything, my favorite part of the stream was hitting 100 subscribers without Dom. Because guess what? Look at me, Chris. I am Dom now. Dude, I am Dom.
You handled the seat well, Luke. It was a pleasure.
I'm the movie nerd now.
Thanks for just dealing with my random midnight text followed by early phone call about some random Adam Sandler
You're acting
movie.
like you're acting like this is any different discourse than we've ever had about anything. Like you're acting like you telling me like, hey, can you do this thing tomorrow? Like immediately at like 2 a.m. like is any different from you being like, Luke, I just wrote this song. Luke, I just watched this show. It's 2 a.m. Have you seen this? And then me at 8 a.m. No. Like
that's so true.
nah.
Oh man. So Luke, dude, this was a blast. It was fun to hang out with you, man.
Yeah, I had a great time.
It seems you're settled into your new place. I love to see that.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, come on by.
yeah, best of luck with everything you have going on. And before I let you go here, what do you want to leave the people with? Anything you want to plug or a message or the floor is yours, my friend?
Oh man, I mean, hey, you got work because like your boy needs a job. But no, I would say like definitely, you know, you can follow me on things. I do a lot of random shit that at this point I'm not gonna create brands for absolutely everything I do because I feel like I just do too much shit. But you can check out my you can look at my portfolio online. You can just look up my name, portfolio. I have a website on journoportfolio.com. I have lots of short stories, some sections of a book on lumberjack folklore that I'm writing, which Chris and I did a D&D campaign set in for a little while. We're gonna bring it back. I mean, yeah, it was a
We
lot of
could
fun.
talk about it. We could talk about it. I have ideas for it actually.
It's good shit.
Yeah, we'll talk about it.
You can check out my band, The Ensuing Disaster. I really wish I had like more like official capacity stuff to be like, go check out. Pretty much, if you really wanted to know what I'm doing, you'd have to like break into my house and find my notebook to really get in on it.
You're working on some good shit then.
Yeah, but I will say, definitely also check out. I write for a website called The Alternative. We are at getalternative.com. It is an independently funded and run, like we have a Patreon. We take no ad space. We don't like everything is independent artists and contributing writers. We just started paying writers, which is really great. So if you want to help your boy out, go check out our website, subscribe to our Patreon. Yep. Yeah, all the good stuff. And keep an eye on our Twitch channel. So this Sunday we're gonna have a bunch of like live sets. And Prince Daddy and the Hyena is gonna be closing out the night. And pretty soon I will also have something for the Twitch channel that I'm very, very excited about. That may or may not be nerd related. Also nerdy related. So keep an eye out for that and just check us out at getalternative.com or at getalternative. You can check me out on my handle, my band, The Ensuing Disaster, and my journal portfolio wherever you decide to check out some writing and things.
Cool. And I'll put as many of those links as I remember in the description below, guys. With that being said, thank you so much for 100 subscribers. If you're still here, I would ask you to please subscribe.
Well, hey, 100 like subscribers.
Yeah,
you
man.
Me, like write a ditty. We can just hop into Logic right now.
You should come on our celebration 100 subscriber live stream that we're gonna do and just chill for a few minutes.
Sure,
that'd be cool. You could play us a song.
Now? Or?
Not now. Now we actually have to get ready to go and watch Candyman over on Flixtalks.
Oh, right. I was
guys. This was great. Thank you so much for joining us for the first official Shocktober event. Subscribe, leave a comment, give this video that thumbs up.
Right.
And I'll see you every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Right here.
That one. There we go.
On YouTube.
Bye.
Peace out, guys.